What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, going live on the Go Political channel with a raspy voice. And I'm going to tell you what. Let me tell you something right now as I cut the music. Cut! I don't know what I'm doing with StreamYard. This is going to be a janky production. I don't even know if you can see. Oh, let's see. Transition. There's my face. Can you see my face yet? And can you hear me? Please type in the chat. Howdy, sir. If you can hear my voice, let me know. Because like I said, this is going to be a janky StreamYard live stream. It is unrehearsed. It's terrible. I don't know how to use this platform just yet. I'm learning. All right. I'm just learning, and we're going to have Bottom Line Caroline is going to be coming on, and we might have Eric from the Opine. What's the name of Eric's channel? I can't think of it because I'm thinking of the name. Also, can you let me know if you can hear the yeah? Can you hear the yeah? Yay! Okay. I don't know. I've got this thing right here. This is what you call a stream deck. This fancy little device right here lets me push a button and do stuff like this. Okay, so I can be shocked, or if I want to smack down some snotty people, I can slap you. Okay. If I feel like you're talking a bunch of crap and I want to flush you down the toilet, I can do so. Shout out to John Luna, and also I saw Messy Mashawn live was all up in the chat. Give a round of applause. I'm addicted to Mashawn's channel. I've been binge watching, jumping on, and getting into the conversation because we have been having some outstanding conversations. And the reason why I like her channel so much is because she says the things that I'm too shy to say. I'm going to tell you what, though, 99.9% of the stuff she says, I wish and hope that I can get to the point where I can say those things out loud. What is up, Messy? She is in the house. There she is. Yay! All right, she is here. I say it. I'm chicken. I'm just a big freaking chicken. I'm a chicken. What's up, Nurse Petty? All right, so we got 8 people on here tonight, and I don't know if you can see what the title of the video is. I've been talking politics. All right. Here's the thing. The reason why I created this channel is to discuss politics and the things that I think are not discussed openly, like talking about common sense things and how most people are brainwashed by the political party cults. Another reason why I watch Mashawn is because she is an independent thinker. She is not brainwashed by either party. She stands on her own beliefs, has her own opinions. And what we generally see in society today, people don't think. Their minds are controlled by the cult leaders, and our political parties are nothing more than cults. I'll do a whole show and I'll prove you that because I can tell you the science behind it. I can tell you. So the name of the channel is Go Political because we want to go political. Now, when I started out, lucky for me, I stumbled upon the Dalton situation and Tiffany the Hood Rat Henyard. Yeah, and that took me down a whole nother pathway, okay? And the channel blew up, so I had to go with it because it was making some money. All right. By the way, please like, comment, and subscribe and tick that bell. Okay. So you will know when I'm going live in the future. Well, at any rate, I had such a resounding response. Yeah, it's a rabbit hole, as John says. I jumped down the rabbit hole of Dalton, and it's a deep, deep rabbit hole. Well, in the last few weeks, I had to take a break because it's mentally and emotionally draining to follow all the mess that's going on in Dalton. And I tell you what, it's also hard for me to go through video clip after video clip and listen to Mayor Tiffany Henyard's mouth. It's just hard. I can't stomach it. I cannot stomach it. So I had to take a break. If you remember The Dark Crystal, you remember that movie, The Dark Crystal, when they took the little Muppets, Kira, I forgot what the guy's name was. And so the monsters hook them up to that machine and they drain them of their vital essence and they shrivel up. That's what I feel like dealing with the Dalton stuff. Okay. And so I decided to take a break from it. Now I still have like 10 videos I'm going to produce and talk about, but I'm going to have to come back to it when I'm in the right mood. I mean, the stuff that I've got for you for Dalton, I mean, it's good stuff. So it will be worth you waiting for. What's up, Nicholas Schmidt? Yay! He is in the house. Glad to have you here. We have 11 people listening. So the topic tonight is talking about Kamala Camel Hump Harris. Camel Hump Harris is in the news today. In the news. And we're here to talk about it. So I did a video. In fact, let me even go to my video and see what it was. I did a couple videos. First video, let's go to that so I can see the name of it. I talked about Carmelo Harris lying on Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club? I can't talk, y'all. I cannot talk. On the Breakfast Club, sitting up lying, talking about how she was open to the legalization of weed. Okay, legalize it. She's talking about wanting to legalize it, but then she goes on this like 5-minute spree of all of the negative impacts of legalizing weed and talking about driving under the influence, accidents, the early developing brains that are damaged by weed, makes all these points. And then she says, but I'm all for legalizing it. Meanwhile, while she was the attorney general, of course, she enforced the possession laws and rules to the T. And a lot of people were put into jail because of that. But she's open to legalizing. And then the kicker was she said that she smoked and got high when she was in college. And then, of course, Charlemagne the demagogue comes on and asks her, so what kind of music did you listen to? I can't stand him, by the way. What kind of music were you listening to while you were getting high in college? She's like, knowing she couldn't name a single person. So he bails her out, or I think his assistant suggested Snoop Dogg. Yeah, Snoop, and Tupac. And so the funny thing was, to me, Snoop and Tupac were not out. They weren't a thing. They didn't have a single released while she was in college. So she was lying. So not only was she sitting there running off at the mouth about how she got high and kicked it and partied and was a cool kid in college, yet to put 1,560 people in jail for possession, but she was lying about the music she was listening to because she makes everything up as she goes along. Okay, so Caroline's here. Let's bring Caroline on. Everybody say hi to Caroline. Give her a round of applause. Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
I was just telling everybody that, okay, this is a ghetto ratchet live stream, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still getting used to using StreamYard. And Caroline, can you hear the... Oops. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, so my sound effects, I think I have set up properly. And it took me one entire night of setting up a voice meter in order to balance the mics and balance the special effects. And I finally got all of that set up. I also sent an invite to Eric, Report and Opine. I couldn't say the name of his channel earlier because while I'm talking and on video, my brain shuts off. By the way, Caroline, we do have Messy Michonne live in the house, a celebrity.
Hey.
You need to go back and listen to the last two live streams that she did. There were so many points that she made. I could write notes. I can't
I
remember.
caught the second to last one, but not the last one.
Okay. She was covering the live event, the 5 people running for election in Dalton, and it was interesting. I'll just say that. Okay. It was very, very interesting. We were talking about Dalton being such a mess. And then one interesting topic that we got into during that video as it relates to the election, okay, is the Boule people, the Divine Nine. Caroline, do you know what the Divine Nine is when you hear about that?
No.
Okay, so the Divine Nine is making reference to the 9 Black Greek sororities and fraternities. There was 8. One of them I don't even call legit. Okay. So the first Black fraternity was the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and it was founded in 1906. And your most noteworthy Alpha member is Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay. So in 1908, you had the second Black Greek fraternity that shows up on the scene, and that is the Kappa Alpha Psi or Phi Nu Pi fraternity. And then in, let's see, oh, I'm sorry, I think it's an Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority was 1908. Yeah, thank you, Michonne, for correcting me there. So then you have the Kappas, 1911, Kappa Alpha Psi. You also have the Omega Psi Phi fraternity in 1913. You have the Delta Sigma Theta sorority that sprouted out from the ranks of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And then you have the esteemed brethren of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, which is the one that I pledged. That's why I'm putting the applause on. And then you have the only brother-sister fraternity combination with the advent of Zeta Phi Beta sorority, which is the sister sorority to my fraternity. My wife is a Zeta. And then you have the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. So then way on down the line, you had another group, Iota Pi Theta, I think it is. They come along the lines of, I think it was 1961. So that's the Divine Nine. But we were discussing how fraternities and sororities are very similar to political parties. They're cults. And we tend to just go right down the line of what the cult says. We don't go against the cult, and we blindly follow. And a lot of people that are in these Divine Nine tend to be Kamala Harris supporters, because you're not supposed to go against the hive mind, of the Divine Nine. All right. And so we were getting into that. We were also getting into the Masonic fraternity. Are you familiar with the Masonic Lodge?
None at all.
Okay. I could take you down a very deep rabbit hole. The Masonic fraternity is supposedly the oldest fraternity in the history of the world. And practically all of your presidents, your senators, all of the people who do the dirty things behind the scenes are all members of the Masonic Lodge. And so it's a secret society for the betterment of men. And then you have a sister organization that's called the Order of the Eastern Star. All right. And after I educate you on this, you're going to see their symbols all over the United States. If you go to Washington, D.C., you're going to see it everywhere. Yes, Missy says, shout out to the Masons. Yay! Any Masons in the house? Check in if you are in a secret society. If you are a Boule member, if you're in a fraternity, sorority, whatever, chime in. I got love for everybody. I think the fraternity and the sorority stuff is a bunch of mess. We went through extreme things to be a part. I got hazed for 7 weeks. There were beatings. There was extreme physical conditioning. We were forced to not sleep through the weekends. We had study halls for 5 hours a day. We had to run around campus wearing military outfits. All of this has been banned. Now they do it underground. But back when I pledged in 1986, you were publicly hazed. So it was like you were joining a member of, like some type of a military group, right? And so we had to stomp around the yard with boots on. And then after 7 weeks of humiliation, both public and private, and lots of beatings, paddles, and all sorts of stuff, you become a member. And so they do all this to test your mettle. Okay. And then you're allowed to come into the order of the fraternity. And a lot of people don't want to admit the things that go on. And the same thing happens in the sororities. It's a bunch of mess. Everybody just wants to be a part, be accepted. I wanted to be a hot shot and wear the Phi Beta Sigma and be the alpha male. I was the step captain. We did step shows, and, I'd wear my hat and letters and everything. And you'd brag and boast about being the big fraternity member. Yeah, exactly. John said, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" That's right. When you got the beatings, you had to say silly stuff like, "Thank you, big brother. May I have another?" So anyway, point is, you got all these folks that are members of these groups, cults, that state you are supposed to follow. You're supposed to vote for Carmelo just because she's black. Okay. But no reasoning, no logic and reasoning goes along with it. And so I had some good comments on the last video that I did, and I'm going to read one of them. There's a young lady that posted and came back and really had a good discussion with me, because I asked people to convince me. All right. I asked people to give me their reasoning. I was talking about the border invasion questions that Kamala Harris supporters can't answer. All right.
Yeah.
And there are 33 comments, but nobody really could make an argument for what we have seen that has gone on. Now, one person made the claim that more people came over the border during Trump's administration than during the Biden and Campbell Hump administration. So I asked the person to please provide the evidence as such, provide some links to news stories, some data, something. And then I also asked, well, if there were more, what was the percentage of the people that were thrown back out after they got over the border during the Trump administration as compared to the Biden administration? And I have not received an answer.
I'm curious.
So, if you look in the comments for Lindsay Stewart, this young lady who is a real estate professional, we had a good conversation. Now, she is one that was afraid of, say, Trump getting in office and becoming a dictator. You know how they're pushing this whole big thing that, say, Trump wins, he's never going to leave, and he's going to be a dictator, and we're going to turn this into a non-democratic country, blah, blah, blah. Now, he's 78 years old, so I don't know how long he'd be able to stay in the office after 4 years at 82. I see zero evidence that, he could or even would want to become a dictator. But whatever the case,
he didn't the first time.
No, he didn't. So if he's such a dictator, why isn't he there now? And I know people say, well, January 6th, insurrection. Now, my question on that is, when an insurrection happens, it usually happens with guns and an army, and there's an overthrow. So what did the people who protested on January 6th accomplish? Did they overthrow the government? Did Donald Trump come back? Then how was it an insurrection? As a matter of fact, most of the people that were there, even the innocent ones, were thrown in jail for years at a time. Years. Okay.
Years, really?
Yes. There's one guy I'm going to have to send you a link to who was there to do videography and cover the event. He was hunted down by the FBI. He was harassed. They had a trial and they said, you're going to make a plea bargain. And we're going to ask you to plead guilty to some sort of charges. And if you don't, we're going to lock you up and throw away the key. And so they forced him to admit to certain things that he did not do, other than being a videographer and videoing the event. Well, he was in jail for 3 years, and his story is unbelievable. And the treatment that he got while he was in jail, it is scary. Let me tell you what, it's wild. And I'll send you the link.
That's terrible.
Yeah, but there were several people that were arrested and their arms were twisted. They were tried. They were convicted. They sat in jail. But as Scott G said, they were not successful. So how is it that we call that an insurrection? Oh, yeah. Terrio got 20 years. Diana Nelson, thank you for that comment. That's right. And it's still in jail right now. But we call it an insurrection. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of similar to like Republicans calling the removal of Joe Biden. They call that a coup. That's not a coup. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. Let's not be ridiculous. Let's not feed into the nonsense. You know,
They're reaching.
You have a whole lot more of the nonsense on one side than you do at the other side. But for the most part, you know, we as human beings, we'll fluff things up so we can support our side of the story, to support our beliefs. Nancy Pelosi orchestrated all of it. I believe she did. And one thing that people do not discuss, besides the fact that she got caught in that recording, that her daughter, I don't know why her daughter released that recording where her and Nancy were speaking on the phone, and Nancy Pelosi's
Did she, or was it leaked somehow by someone?
I don't know. I thought her daughter released it, but maybe it was leaked.
That's stupid.
But yeah, the conversation where she was saying it's my fault because I did not allow I should have called out the National Guard. Okay. Yeah. But there's several things that just don't add up about the so-called insurrection. Like there were 6 undercover FBI agents that were there on the grounds before things got crazy. And so they were supposedly pretending to be members of the demonstration, right? And they were the ones that threw that first tear gas bomb, if you remember, when the tear gas shows up. And so after the tear gas is where things started to get ugly, and when they started breaking windows and then busted the door down. So there were instigators that were in the crowd. If it was an insurrection by the Republicans, then why did we have members of the FBI that were on the grounds and instigating a riot? Why did that happen? But people don't talk about that. There were mistakes made on both sides. There were some things that Trump said during his speech that I think were dumb. Looking back on it, he did say a few things that made the stupider people in the crowd want to get up and start acting a fool. But he did say, be peaceful. And he didn't want, any harm upon anybody that was at the demonstration. So at any rate, there's a lot of blame on both sides, but who discusses the role of the FBI during the insurrection? Who discusses that? On another note, you look at what's going on with, huh?
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, I can. You're on.
Okay.
2 thumbs up. You're on. I hear you loud.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay. So you know how you got the FBI investigating in Dalton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's waiting on the FBI to take down the Tiffany Henyard and arrest all these people, right? And then people talk about how the FBI has got a 98.5% conviction rate. They're just perfect. And, they don't need Lori Lightfoot. They don't need anything else because, by God, it's all under the control of the FBI. Who appointed the director of the FBI? Do you know? Who's your guess?
Biden?
Yes. Joe Biden, the president, nominated or picked the current leader of the FBI. The FBI is an agency that is political. In other words, the whole makeup of the FBI changes when the parties change. Yeah. So if the FBI is controlled by the Democrats, as we see, and everybody's watched, what's his name? Ray. What's Director Ray's first name? Can't think of it because I'm thinking of it. Let me see if I can look it up on the web. But we watched, is it Christopher Wray, FBI?
Oh, that sounds, yeah.
Okay, let's see here.
That sounds right.
Christopher Asher Wray. Christopher Wray. He's the head of the FBI. So we watched those congressional hearings when Christopher Wray is being picked apart by the Republican senators, by everyone after the incident happened at the Trump rally, right? Mm-hmm. And we saw the nonsense answers. We saw the dodginess. We saw the BS that was going on, where it looked like, okay, either he's completely stupid or there's some things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Now, it was hideously obvious when you saw the Secret Service director stonewalling for hours on end when she's getting pillaged with questions by both Democrats and Republicans. But nobody talks about the fact that she was only giving the answers that she was told to give.
Yeah.
She wasn't allowed to speak her mind or tell the truth. They prepared her. They said,
Got a
if
lot of
there's any,
pressure.
yeah,
Yep.
you could see it when they're asking her for plain details, like, is there a nose on your face? I don't want to give any false information. I will get back to you about the nose on my face after my investigation is complete.
Well, here's the thing, in her defense, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but in no world do they ever answer those questions during an investigation.
No.
It's still an investigation. So
Uh-huh.
why, while it's televised to the nation, to the world, are they going to ask her those questions, and is she going to be able to answer them?
Well, I think the certain questions that were obvious, that were already public information, should have been answered. And I think
Some of them,
answering, go ahead.
some of them for me were, and let me try to think of an example, but some of them were in, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Oh, what is the word?
it'll
What
come
is
to
the
me.
word? Fundamental to the nature of the investigation, so they would
Yes.
not say sabotage the investigation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, a
You got
lot
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
questions, some stuff, obviously, you don't want to unravel the details of the investigation so people who have not yet been caught could make moves that would subvert the FBI, right?
Mhm.
But other questions are obvious and they were of a general nature. And so, what the congressional hearing, the people at the hearing, what they wanted to hear was admit of what you screwed up with. Tell us something so the American people can feel like you're not an idiot and that you actually care and that you're not grossly incompetent. But she wasn't allowed to answer anything.
Yeah.
So, how is it that you have such a divide between the Congress asking those questions frustrated because they can't get any answers and the Secret Service who's telling her what she can and cannot say? So who's really in charge? Is it the Secret Service or is it the elected officials? And it's the same thing with the FBI. The FBI is sneaky and dirty. They do a lot of dirt. And
Yeah.
when I do my video history for you about J. Edgar Hoover, you're going to understand that. You're going to understand how devious the FBI is. You're going to understand what the word deep state means. Some people want to act like that word does not exist. But when you understand how the FBI operates, when you understand how powerful J. Edgar Hoover was, then you're going to understand what the deep state is all about. And deep state just basically is saying that the FBI, the CIA, these organizations that are branches or agencies within the federal government, that they have decision making capability, and they have the ability to withhold information from elected officials. They can make moves without the approval of elected officials. And the reason why they're allowed to do that is because they're supposedly protecting our best interests. And so if they're having an investigation of a country that is gonna say do something like blow up some buildings in New York City, they're not going to divulge that information and share it for fear that they would compromise that investigation. All right. So the point I'm trying to make about the FBI, the CIA, it's not what you think it is. We have these expectations, we have this simplistic view or belief of what the FBI is all about. Like they're the ultimate policing agency. They're here to guard the truth and protect the citizens of the United States, but they're not. They're not. There's so much crap that goes on behind the scenes that you would be shocked to know that they don't have our best interests at hand. Their job is to keep the people in power behind the scenes that are the hands on the strings puppeting people like Joe Biden or whomever else that it might be. Let me read through some of these comments here. If you see something interesting, Caroline, would you please stop me and bring it to my attention?
Sure.
Okay. Now I'm hoping that while we're talking about all this stuff, we can get some Kamala Harris people in the house. So if you are a Kamala Harris supporter, I want you to type "I'm with Harris" right now in the comments, and then we can proceed because we want to have a discussion. We want to hear the people that are supporting Kamala Harris and allow you to speak, and maybe to see if you can convince us that there are policies that she actually is proposing that make sense, because I don't even know what her policies are. I don't know what they are. Are you aware of anything that she is proposing right now? Like, I'm going to go to her website right now. Kamala.
Yeah, absolutely not. I can't name a one. Nothing.
Let's see. Do you know what the address is for her presidential bid site? Campaign website. Let's see if I can get it there. Well, there's the Joe Biden for president website, White House website. I don't see one for Kamala Harris. Let's see.
No.
I'm going to go to the Wikipedia. I'm going to type on this. I mean, this is kind of silly if I can't even find the website. What does that say? I'm not saying anything. So maybe someone can post in the comments, if you're a Harris supporter, post the link. What the heck is the link to her website so we can find out? She wants to help Black women have maternal care. Oh, yeah, you're right. That is the one thing. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can name. Is there something else? Is there something else? So she's running around the country speaking at Planned Parenthoods, and that's like the biggest thing that she's given her attention to. And I tell you what, I don't have a dog in that fight. Caroline, I don't even know where you stand on that issue, but I'm like, hey, I'm a man. You know, we do so many different things in this country. I'm not going to take a stance on abortion. Thank you, John, for just saying the word, for just coming out and saying it, doggone it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
All right. So I'm not one way or another, but we know that that's one thing. Let's see. Nexus Primus says you support her stopping the oil pipeline from being left on reservation land, as well as stopping it from going over the large aquifers in the Great Lakes. All right. Well, that's a reason. Okay. That can be an environmental hazard. Now, I would say I'm thinking that we have the technology to do this in a responsible way, you know, because if, say, the risk of the dependence on oil elsewhere, the consequences of that is if it's greater than the consequences of the risk of the pipeline and letting it flow, you know, tapping those resources, you know, maybe that's something to look at. What else is there? Does anybody else know? All right, gun control. Yeah, that ain't a good one. That's definitely not one that would convince me to vote for her. I'm looking for something that maybe she's proposing that would make me want to vote for her. Is there something that she's telling to people like me who are not on the bandwagon, who are one of the Divine Nine that is not brainwashed and a member of the cult, blindly ready to follow? After watching my video about immigration, can you tell me something that she's proposed that would change my mind? I mean, I already mentioned it. 4 years, 11 million. Is it 11 million or is it 20? I've heard both. Have you heard a number on immigration, Caroline?
11.
Okay, we'll go with 11 million. So let's say in the last 4 years, we have 11 million people in this country. I don't know how many it was during the Trump administration. I will tell you that Obama deported more illegal immigrants than any president before him.
Yep.
Joe Biden doesn't deport people. I think we're being gaslit and they're doing this on purpose. And so of the 11 million, the majority of them are still here. And let's just call a daggum spade a daggum spade. They're bringing these people over here so they can vote. That's it. They're trying to increase the voter base. I mean, don't tell me otherwise, because we've already seen measures being passed in certain cities and certain municipalities where they're allowing these people to vote. All right, let's just call a spade and stop dancing around that issue. So it's for votes. She slithered in. Patriot Chick said she slithered in. Okay, so What else do we have? I support what she did with the border, where she says no one can come in until there are less than 1,500 people at the border every day. That's a clever way to fix the problem. Are you being serious? Until there are less than 1,500 people at the border every day? You mean like 1,500 people trying to come over illegally? Is that what you mean? Tell me more about that, Nexus, please. Expound on that.
It's a day.
It's a day. Can you make sense of that for me, Caroline?
No, nope.
Okay, so Nexus says, I'm telling you, the law that she made and passed this summer. Are you ignoring me?
Get down.
No, I'm talking about you. I'm not ignoring you. So tell me more. Tell me more. You need to read your own laws. I like this. Now, don't get all butthurt and upset. I'm asking you, Nexus Primus, to convince me. I'm not asking for an argument. Post the law. So what you're telling me is that Kamala Harris came up with a law that said that no one can come in until there are less than 1,500 people at the border every day. I'm not getting that. 1,500 what? Guards, agents, or people trying to get in illegally? I don't understand that. All right. So is that your answer to the fact that we have had 11 million people come into this country? Now, what do you do with the videos that we see? All right, Nexus, we see a crisis going on in New York City. There was a video that was just put out today. Let me go to my history so I can tell you what that video was, where he was talking about how serious the situation is because there are liberals, Democrats that are protesting. Why? It's because all of the shelters are being put in poor and middle income neighborhoods, and none of them are being put in the rich neighborhoods. And they're wondering why, of the 28 facilities that have been set up, why are they all around the poor people? And so they're upset because crime in the areas where these buildings are overrun with illegal immigrants, you have tons of crime. And their worry, these are Democrats, is that the crime that is going on within these buildings housing the illegal immigrants is going to spill over into the regular community. I'm still scrolling down trying to find it. Here it is. It's by Cash Jordan. All right. Yeah. And it says the title is It Begins, New York City Sends All Migrants to Poor Neighborhoods. So I'm going to grab a link to this. And I wish I knew how to like show this. I would showcase this, but I don't know how to do it. So for now, I'm going to grab the link. I'm going to come back over here to this here StreamYard, and I'm going to post this here link right there so you can see it with your own beady little eyes. And I'm going to ask you to go look at this and tell me if this is fake. Is it not happening? Because this is what's going on. Messy Michon says, but crime is down. Yeah, crime is down, and the economy is great. Inflation ain't going on. Everything is going good. Yeah, Joe did say crime is down. Jim Crow Joe Biden told you people, that everything is going good. We don't need to look at evidence. We don't need to look at anything. All right. So I'm going back to the comments. I'm going to try to read this. So help me out if you can, Caroline. So they can vote for a couple. Keep taking our jobs. Yeah, that's going on. Nexus Primus says, here this speaks of the law. What? Please post it. What's the law? I still don't understand what you mean about the 1,500. I still don't understand how that explains the 11 million that are overrunning the sanctuary cities. I still don't understand what that has to do with people like Mayor Eric Adams giving $1,000 a month to people who are here illegally. I don't understand that. All right, John.
Give context to what you're talking about, man.
John's explaining.
So we can understand. Yeah, 1,500 can enter and then no more a day.
Okay, so 1,500 a day. Let's do some math then.
But the way you worded it was weird.
Yeah, it was. 1,500 times 365 means they're allowing 500,000 a year. Now that's a dadgum lie. You know good and dadgum well
Oh,
that
yeah.
there ain't no dadgum limit of 500,000 immigrants coming in every year. So what was the law passed after they got 10 million through? Was that it? And if that's the case, what good was the law? What good was it? You know, that doesn't make sense to me. So there's a law on the books saying you can let 1,500 people come in. Now, there shouldn't be any. It should be zero. Why does the law state we don't do nothing until you get to 1,500? Did you
I'll
not
be right
watch
back.
my last video when my friend Manny got deported after 10 years of legal fees, after 10 years of trying to be here with a green card? He got sent back to Mexico. But you're telling me that 1,500 is an acceptable number? Okay, so 1,500 a day is not what it is. It's not 1,500 a day. Then what is it? The asylum ban. I've never heard of this. I have never heard of this. So it's you cannot enter until the amount of people at the border are lower than 1,500. Does anybody else know, or can anyone else provide a link to what Nexus Primus is talking about? And can anyone else convince me that this is an effective measure to take care of the problem that we already have 11 million people in this country right now, causing a problem where we as taxpayers have to pay for them to be here, while friends of mine are deported who are trying to do things by legal means? Can you tell me that? Please, I want to know. Go look at what's happening in South Chicago, in my old neighborhood of 99th and LaSalle, where I grew up. There are black people in droves who are protesting, and they have a little campaign going on where they are talking about painting the city red because they're sick of the Democratic Party and what they've been doing in Chicago, which is stealing the resources of the black community and handing it over to illegal immigrants. So recently, I did a video a couple months back talking about the $90 million funding bill that was passed by the city of Chicago that is currently operating in a deficit. They don't have the money. They had to get bonds for it, borrowing $90 million to pay for illegal immigrants. $90 million in addition to the $100 million that I believe they had already spent. So what does this 1,500 limit got to do with anything? What do we do now that all of the parks and schools and clubs have already been taken away from people in the south side of Chicago? Can you answer that question? It doesn't make any sense to me. Odd Green member says that makes no sense. Okay, Caroline's back. Let me bring you back. There she is again. Welcome back to the stage, Caroline.
Sorry.
All right. We're trying to make sense of this 1,500 thing. It's not making any sense. Gift a few memberships. Do what you want, John. I appreciate everything you do because John is the man. Yay! I like John. John has been supporting the channel. And I appreciate people like John for giving because this is an expensive endeavor. Right now,
John supported me today, too.
Yes, he did. He sent a Cash App to you need to change your name.
Thanks, John.
Do you realize that your name says "Give Me Two" with Caroline? It needs to reflect
your
name of the channel, which is Bottom Line with Caroline. And you guys need to check out her channel because her shorts are absolutely hilarious and entertaining. And she is just blowing up. She's doing an excellent job with her channel and growing, and has been putting up a lot of good political stuff. Now, she's not only working with the political channel, but she has a couple other channels. One that covers construction. Her husband is a construction contractor, and then she has a doggy channel. What kind of dog is that you have?
English Mastiff.
An English Mastiff. So she is building a successful YouTube channel. There's a handful of other people, including my cousin Eric, who hopefully he can pop in tonight, that I am helping to build channels to getting monetized, because this is something that we want to do as a career. But anyway, all that to say, it does cost money to do this. And so my cost is over $300 a month. I'm paying so many subscriptions and fees and licensing and all sorts of stuff, but I'm trying to make it an income too, so I can do more of this and less of something else. And because of that, I appreciate people like John Luna. Judge Petty is in the house. Give a big round of applause.
Hey, girl, hey.
What is up, girl? I'm so behind. I've been catching your messages. I have been on a serious break, vacation, and slacking, but I'm going to holler at you very soon. So you guys go check out Judge Petty's channel. She's been posting up some good stuff covering the mess.
Channel.
The mess that's going on in Dalton with Tiffany Henyard. Okay.
5 memberships.
5 memberships. Give a round of applause to John Luna for gifting 5 memberships to 5 lucky people who are here. We have 19 people watching. So if you happen to receive a membership from John, tell him thank you. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Oh, Messy Michonne got one. That is fantastic. Patriot Chick. Did you get one? Okay, she said don't forget about the mandatory shutdowns in VAC. The mandatory shutdowns. Oh, yeah. Vaccination. Right. That's true. Phoenix Blaze is in the house. What's up, Phoenix? Yay! Glad to have you here. So anyway, we have just been given a round of 5 memberships given by John Luna, one of my best supporters. So thank you, John, for that donation. The donation to help people become members. And I will put up a members only video just for those 5 new people that have received the donation of a membership to the channel. All right, so that's coming. What's up, Monique? Glad to see you here. All right, so facts shut down NP. Facts shut down NP. What do you mean by that? The facts shut down the nonsense as it relates to the immigration thing. Some people might not know why I hit that bell when I say as it relates to. They'll have to go back and watch my coverage of the hood rat mayor so they can understand that. So we're still talking about the 11 million people. The 11 million people. Oh, yeah. Where's Nexus now? 11 million people flooding into the country that are already here that we're paying for. And like I said, I have friends who are spending thousands of dollars on legal fees trying to get legal immigration status. I've got one of my son's best friends. The family is from India. And so Vishva is in the horrible state of California studying to be a doctor. And his parents are fighting to stay here. And every day they're fighting with immigration because they've had to leave and come back. But Vishva was born here and is a citizen. And so why do they keep on trying to deport my son's best friend's parents while Joe Biden and Eric Adams are letting these people flood in and giving them the red carpet treatment, giving them food, clothing, the ability to vote, the ability to work for the Chicago police force? You could be a police officer and be an illegal alien. Did you know that? Did you know that? An official carrying Chicago police officer and an illegal alien. Oh my goodness, John has dropped a 20 bomb on my head. Okay, guys, we have a new stream king. It is
there you go, the king.
John Luna. John, we appreciate you, our new stream king. Everyone, please pay homage to your great king. Thank you, John Luna, the reigning stream king. In fact, this is his 3rd term. He's been the king twice before. And he is a good and righteous king at that. One of the best stream kings. We've had one queen, only one queen.
We have.
And And so John Luna is the stream king at $20.60. And so he said, I'll just do both. I love your channel. Thank you so much. And I gave $20.60 because I read that YouTube takes 3%. This is so you get the whole $20. Thank you very much. And another round of applause for John Luna. And see, here's the thing, guys. I'm motivated to provide entertaining comment because of people like John. So, John, I'm going to have some hood rat Tiffany Henyard Dalton mess coming your way because you paid for it. He paid the movie ticket. I'll do the production. All right. So what else do we have? Anything else happening in the comments that we need to know about? Yes,
Elaine
Judge Petty is
Elaine said that she thought that it was capped at 2,500 a day. I also thought that it was 2,500 a day. But when you said 1,500, I assumed you were right because you were reading it directly from the thing. But I did think it was 25 at one point. So I'll agree with that.
And still, we don't have anybody that has given any kind of logical explanation for what that's got to do with the 11 million people that are already here. Jesus. What's that got to do with the crisis? Is that not like a bait and switch? It's either gaslighting or it's a bait and switch. So we're going to sit here and talk about this 1,500 to 2,500 limit, and then we'll just shove the 11 million that are already here under the table.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Dr. Zachary Smith says, R.I.P. Matthew Crooks. You are a true patriot. All right. He's obviously joking, right? Dr. Zachary.
He better be joking. If not, Mara, can you get him out of here?
Trolling. He's got to be trolling. We don't even want to go down that road.
He is.
I don't think he's serious. I think
get out of here with that mess. Dude.
Yeah, I think he's playing. I think he knows. He's got to be playing.
I mean,
John,
what kind of a joke, though,
thank
is
you
that?
for coming. John's got to go. So everybody say bye-bye to John. Give him
John.
one more round of applause. Say
Thanks
goodnight
again.
to the Stream King. The Stream King. So since the king is going to sleep, if somebody wants to step up and take over the reign, the crown is waiting for you. The crown is waiting. I hear my I gotta mute my phone because the phone's been ringing. But at any rate, if you would like to take over, come on in. Judge Petty says, I'm going to let you evaluate that comment. Yeah. I don't know how to evaluate it. I think they're just kidding. And so Deanna says that number is just for the ones coming through the proper gate. Are you talking about illegals or people who are being naturalized or like getting political asylum? Is that for people who are abiding by the rules or the ones that are clearly circumventing the rules? That might be. And so if that's
proper gate means, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That's why it has nothing to do with the 11 million. That's why. Okay. Because that number will come up to 500,000 a year. So I'm sorry. What was that person's name? Let me scroll back.
Deanna. Deanna for the win.
The person who was making the comments in the beginning, Nexus Primus, I'm going to have to take that explanation away from you because obviously that has to do with people who are seeking political asylum and abiding by the rules, not for the illegals who are coming here without going through the proper channels. You know, the ones they call the catch and release or whatever, or the ones that are just saying, just go on through. All right. We know that the numbers that are coming through illegally is far greater than the amount of people that are seeking political asylum. So it's no excuse. It's no excuse. Dr. Zachary Smith, what are you a doctor of? If you would come back and talk to us, you can't just say something that's like that ridiculous and then leave the party. I want to know. Doggone it. I want to know if you're really serious and why you think that Thomas Matthew Crooks would be a patriot. That's rather interesting. Okay,
Carlton, so he's like the stupid people who say, "Why did you miss?" He's one of those. He's just saying it in a different way.
Yeah, and there's people out there who do believe that. I mean, there's a lot of folks who really did want to see the man die from that, and they think that it was a travesty that the shot wasn't on, and that's pretty sad. And so why would you think that? Based on what happened during the 4 years that Donald Trump was the president, what can you tell me from that 4 years during the time that he was the president that he would deserve to be shot in the head? Name something. I mean, even the stupid things that he said, because he said a few things that were kind of dumb, that were a little bit ridiculous and absurd, but is it deserving of an assassination? Can you tell me that? And furthermore, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you a question. Do you think you people who I know that are probably watching, maybe none of them are watching, but for the people who think that, darn, they missed and they should have shot this man, do you really think that it's a good idea to go along with that line of thinking and believe that it won't come back to bite you, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay. So if you think that it would be an okay thing that the dingaling who shot the man was a patriot, then you're also opening up the door to the idea that anyone who has a different political belief should be able to do the same to your leader. Is that what you're saying? Is that what
It
you're
is
saying?
diabolical.
And is that what it's come to? And okay, I want to do a video and I'm looking for evidence, video evidence. And Caroline, maybe you can help me to find the evidence. And if anyone else watching can help me find this evidence, maybe you could help me to get this video done quicker. I want all the instances of politicians and people who are in noteworthy positions and also talk show hosts who talk about dangerous Donald Trump, who's a threat to democracy.
Ooh.
Okay, I want every instance of that because I want to do a video where I show you the rhetoric that led up to the assassination. And one little bit of rhetoric that really gets is this whole psychotic thinking. It's psychosis. I think it's psychosis, where they claim that we have to stop Donald Trump because if he wins, it's the end of the democracy.
Oh, yeah.
Can somebody make an argument for that as to how?
John Luna.
He's back. Yeah, just go watch The View. You're right. You're right, John. I will go and just pull up some clips from The View, and I'll probably get plenty of instances of them talking about the dangerous Donald Trump. I'll get plenty of information from them. But anyway, can anyone help me out with that? Can anyone help me out with that? Help me to understand that while we sit here and listen to these people who scare folks up into thinking that we're going to be under a dictatorship and that the democracy ends if he wins the election. So if he's such a mean old dictator, why is he not still in the White House? Okay, Scott G says, why downplay his words? What words? Post those words, please. Pushing Biden out and announcing Harris was the single most undemocratic act America has seen. Well, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so on that side, they're allowed to do that. So they put up a person who's at the head of the ticket that has not one delegate vote, but they're afraid that the other guy is going to end democracy. That 80 million people voted for, but that's going to end democracy if this guy wins, which he most likely will. The majority of people in this country are going to vote probably for Donald Trump. He's probably going to win. And if he wins, so that's the end of democracy. I don't understand that. Help me out. So his words are that he's going to be a dictator for one day. All right, let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up, Scott G. When he wins, I'm going to shoot a video for you at the end of that day, and we're going to break down the ruthless dictatorial acts of Donald Trump from day one. Because he's going to be a dictator for one whole day. Oh, one whole day. He's going to be a dictator. We don't know what we're going to do with a dictator for one day. How are we going to survive for 24 hours? Now, what does every president do when they come in office? They fire the staff and replace them. They fire the staff and they replace them. So we won't downplay his words. But Scott G, I'm not afraid. Donald Trump was the president for 4 years. What did he do that was dictatorial? Okay, now we can talk about things that Joseph Biden did that are dictatorial. I can give you a litany of things that are dictatorial. You want to know what a dictator does? Well, that's when your president, Joe Biden, puts a person in charge of the SEC by the name of Gary Gensler, who went to an Ivy League school, who came from the ranks of Goldman Sachs. Okay? So he comes in and he is in alignment with the people of BlackRock. Joseph Biden's appointment to the SEC has been dead set against cryptocurrency, even though he used to teach about the positive and glowing benefits of cryptocurrency and how it is the evolution of finances in the United States in front of our very eyes. That's what he taught. The videos are on the web from him teaching in his finance classes. But the minute he gets appointed by Joseph Biden, he's been attacking cryptocurrency since day one, like a dictator. Now, I can get on my phone and I can show you all these apps that I have that are cryptocurrency trading exchanges. And the majority of these trading exchanges I can't use anymore. You want to know why, Scott G? It's because your guy Biden's Gary Gensler banned them from operating in the U.S. and then went so far as to ban citizens like me from being able to use certain exchanges. Why? It's because they want to stop us from financially empowering ourselves and to protect the best interests of BlackRock. And if you want to know why, you can do your own research. But BlackRock is the largest investment company in the world today, founded in 1983, and owns the majority of all the holdings that are in your retirement portfolio. Did you know that? Did you know that? And cryptocurrency threatens the ability of BlackRock and all of the curmudgeons connected to Joe Biden and people like Gary the Gremlin Gensler to be able to make tons of money by printing money, supporting the war machine, controlling the stock market, making hideous, heinous profits, and not allowing people like me to invest in cryptocurrency. Now, there's a certain blockchain called Caspa that I've invested in. And 2 years ago, I put $400 into Caspa. It is the GhostDag protocol. I wonder if he's even here just listening to this still. All right. So you've got the GhostDag protocol. It's basically accounting on the web. All right. Blockchain is a way that we can do what bank ledgers did, except everybody gets to see it. Think of the credit card network. When you go to the store and you swipe your little credit card and you pay for something, right? Well, that little electronic transaction goes through the phone lines and the interwebs, and then it pings a bank and says, take this much out and debit this person's account, add this to what this person owes, okay? And that is all under the current, the credit card network, not the smart system. I can't think of it because I'm thinking of it, but the traditional TradFi network, that's what all the banks and the credit cards are built upon. The blockchain is a financial network that's viewable by the world. And we have the ability to do business transactions, which lots of businesses use the blockchain for accounting purposes. Okay. So at any rate, you got this Caspa cryptocurrency that came along the lines about 3 years ago. And when I saw the technology, I thought this is amazing. It could be more useful than Bitcoin because it's spendable money, where Bitcoin is a store of value. And I thought because of the development, the technology, and the guys that were behind it, I'm going to invest into this. So I put $400 in it, right? I put $400 in it. Now, after I did that, the exchange that I used to buy it got shut down. And we as U.S. citizens got barred from using that exchange. So that means I couldn't sell it and cash back out, right? Because Gary Gensler and the U.S. government says that I'm not responsible enough to be able to invest my own money into something that I see fit, right? So then I had to store my Caspa on a digital wallet. This is a Tangem card. This is like a bank. It's on a card. That's what cryptocurrency is. It takes the ability of banking out of the banker's hands and puts it in the hands of people. So nobody can have my 102,000 Caspa coins, right? Because it's tied up with this card and I have to use this app and scan it to do transactions. Well, long story short, if you look in my Tangem app, and I don't think you can see it, let me see if you can see the balance of my Tangem of the Caspa coins. Do you see it up at the top? I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that number? I don't know if you're
barely.
Out. Well, I'll just tell you what it is right now, today, this very moment, my CASPA investment is worth $20,072. Now, you tell me if that wasn't one lucky investment. I put the $400 in
Yeah,
2 years ago, and now it's worth $20,000.
that's awesome.
Bull market, yeah. At the peak of the bull market, it's possibly going to be worth around $500,000 or more. But here's the funny thing about it. CASPA is not traded on any U.S. approved exchange because of Gary Gensler. All right. So Gary Gensler has shut down everyone except for Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini as legal exchanges to be utilized in the United States. Okay. So that, my friend Scott G, is what you call a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship because I'm being told that I can't invest into certain crypto projects that could free me financially. Now, give me some examples of what Donald Trump did to steal my money, to take my investments, or to subvert my rights to freedom. Give me some examples. I'll wait. Yeah, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this statement that Scott. Yeah, I'm screenshotting this. Scott G says the minute some whale sells off this CASPA, which he can't even spell right, the price will go down. All right, so you're not, Scott, you're not educated on this. Okay, he's not educated. You don't know what you're talking about. Jonathan Sompolinsky, PhD, who is the chief developer and the founder of the CASPA project. I've spoken to him personally, along with the two other core developers that are on the team. And this, it's kind of like someone saying, yeah, as soon as everybody starts using Linux and then quits Windows, Bill Gates going to be broke. You don't know what you're talking about, Scott. I'm sorry. So you don't basically have an answer. You don't. Yes, it's a democratic republic, which your Democrat people don't respect because you have no delegates that have put forth Kamala Harris in front of your ticket. Your people were supposed to vote for the delegates to take their pick to the convention, and they didn't do that. But then now you're telling me that this is a democratic republic. Can someone explain that? Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so dictators are installed. Well, they sure did install Jim Crow Joe Biden on us. They sure did install him. And we know who was behind the installation. It was the previous president to Joe Biden. The same thing is happening right now. Hey, you want to have some fun? Go watch the video that my cousin Eric just put up today. And I'm going to give you a link to it because you're going to see something that is really interesting, because Eric shows a video of Kamala Harris making a statement during a debate, saying something to Jim Crow Joe Biden. Let's see here if I can find a link. I'm scrolling down. So let's see. Let me just go to his. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Media spin cycle hits hyperdrive. Kamala.
Oh no.
Okay, there we go. So let's get the link to that. And let's paste this in so everybody can watch that video. All right, now I'm going to paste it in. There we have it. It's very interesting when you hear what Kamala Harris is saying to Joe Biden, only to turn around and become his running mate and assistant for 4 years. It's like, wow, well, what do you believe, Kamala Harris? She says one thing and then does the exact opposite. And then a lot of the things that she says don't make any sense. I can't make sense out of half of the crap that comes out of her mouth.
Nobody can. It's word salad. Nothing but word salad.
Yeah, complete word salad. Complete word salad. There's video after video where you can see that when she does not have the assistance of a teleprompter, she makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. No sense. No sense. But I'm going to tell you what, they're probably going to corral her very soon and force her into using a teleprompter and only reading from prepared speeches, because she's not going to have a chance if she is continued to allow to speak freely the way she does.
A professional does not write her speeches.
No, not at all.
I think she's an amateur, and I think she wants to give it a go, and she's trying to write something that's going to go down in history that people are going to repeat 100 years from now and say that she said it and it means so much. And that one statement is, oh, what is it? Something about what we can be, unburdened by what has been.
Yeah. Oh, like, come on, man. You know that didn't make
That's her
no kind of
statement.
sense whatsoever. That didn't make any sense at all.
No.
At all. Holy smokes. I don't get it. But this is who the front runner is for the Democratic ticket. Okay, so Scott G, I'm still waiting for the example of how Donald Trump was a dictator who subverted my rights during the 4 years that he was president. And I'm also still waiting for what he did as a dictator and why there's this great fear. We're not downplaying the fact that he did say he's going to be a dictator for one day. But people like me, I really think that it's tongue in cheek, that you don't have to sit around, oh my God, Donald Trump done said he's going to be a dictator for one day.
It's context. Come on, it's context.
But we'll take whatever words that he says and we'll interpret it the way that we want, or it aligns with our belief system. So if he says something that sounds horribly scary because it's the opposite of what our belief system is, then that's what we're going to go with. If they say something that aligns with your belief system, then you know that you're not going to really take it seriously when you hear something like, I'm going to be a dictator for one day. But everything that he said tongue in cheek that is supposed to be a joke, it's taken out of context, twisted, turned around and thrown back out there for the scary public that is waiting to hear something to scare them half to death. And they fall for it. Hook, line, and sinker every single time. I need to learn how to pull in like your screen, like videos where you can share a video.
At the bottom, go to share.
How to do that. Say what?
At the bottom, you can do it right now. At the bottom, go to hang on, let me get this window out of my way. Go to present with the little TV with the plus sign, and then share, and then choose share screen, and then select which screen. And then it'll minimize the two of us and show another screen, or you know, you can choose your layout.
Well, I'm going to try that so I can show the short that I put out yesterday.
Yeah, do it.
It's going to preview the video that I've coming up that's going to deal with the topic of reparations. So let's see here. Let me open up the video first, and then I'll press pause here. And now I'm going to go back and hit share screen, and I'm going to see if I can pull this up for you. So here we go. I'm going to hit share screen, and I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see here. I'm looking down the list. 16. What is that? No policy. They don't. Okay. I cannot find the link to, or its window. Let's see. Window? No, that's not it. Oh boy.
There's a way you can switch.
Yeah, I can see the tabs here, but I don't know which one. Okay, maybe this is it. Maybe that's it. I don't see it. It's like I've got a tab open with the short, but it's not showing up here. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'm going to hit this and tell me if you see this on the screen now.
That's that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We see it. And I think that's the one that's today.
Okay.
That's today's.
Can you hear the video? Did that not come through?
Oh, am I the only one that couldn't hear it? Did it go through? Because you know my sound is weird sometimes. We discovered that.
Well, I was playing the video, but I guess now how do I exit?
Oh no, I know what you did. Did you?
What did I do?
Did you add to stage? Oh, you added to stage, but did you press play.
Oh, I didn't pull it in from the stage. Okay. Well, forget that. So that didn't work. I'm going to have to figure that out next time. That was a fail. All right. Forget that. Okay. Phoenix, next time I'll figure it out so you can
I can.
understand
I have this option. I can do it.
Okay, you do it. If you know how to do it, share that short.
Okay, hang on.
The Kamala Harris short where I was talking about reparations. That would be great.
Shorts. Oh, you do want the reparations one?
Yeah, I want the reparations short.
Okay.
I'm going to have to do my homework because the screen that I was sharing, it's not the video screen. It's the screen that just goes to YouTube Studio. And the one that I want doesn't show up as an option. So.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that didn't work?
No, it didn't.
Okay, sorry. We tried.
Well, I'll have to figure that out. I don't know how to do that.
So wait, when I shared my screen, it just went to your back end?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
You didn't?
Yeah, click it again and I'll see if it shows up on my back end because I thought it was going to come up on the screen, but maybe you can't do that from your end since I'm logged in my StreamYard account. That could be the reason why. Stupid says Trump 2024, but you're not stupid.
Not at all.
Because that's pretty smart. Oh, before that, Stupid says she talks about Donald pulling out. He is not the Donald that should have pulled out.
What?
I don't understand that. I'm scratching my head
screen.
there. Okay.
Go political YouTube. Share.
Okay, Scott G is back. Hold on. Okay, I see it now. Scott G is upset. Hold on a second so I can handle this. I'm glad you're still here. And STFU while you attack K. Okay, he says, I lose money when whales sell off their crypto. That is a fact in my world. Well, yeah, but Scott G, what I was trying to tell you is Scott G was arguing about Trump being a dictator for a day. And so then I talked about Gary Gensler, the Joe Biden appointee for the SEC. And I said that Gary Gensler has taken away my freedom and ability to invest into certain cryptocurrencies. So while I was talking about my $20,000 Caspa investment, Scott G came back and tried to minimize what I was saying, or at least that's what I thought you meant, Scott, by telling me if some whale sells off all of their Caspa, that my investment is going to go down the tubes. To which I said, well, then you're just not educated about that project because come on. It's like saying if everyone sells out of Bitcoin, it's just going to go to zero. It's going to go to $1. When Bitcoin is invested in by practically every civilized country in the world. And so the Caspa project is on its way to being of that level. And so that wasn't the point. The point that I was trying to make, Scott G, is that the dictator Joe Biden, his appointee, Gary Gensler, and the SEC were preventing me from being able to cash out, say, the $20,000 I have in Caspa right now. If I hit the sell button right now, I can drop $20,000 into my bank account. But I can't do that because of the SEC and Gary Gensler. That's what I meant. Okay. So we're not going down a different rabbit hole. That wasn't the point. And so I'm not attacking Kamala Harris. I'm asking you to present me with facts that would cause me to change my mind and say that, oh, well, I'll vote for Kamala Harris so we can continue on with Gary Gensler. Like, tell me why. What's Kamala Harris going to do for me and my investment portfolio? Or like, I'm into real estate now doing house rehabs. What's Kamala going to do to protect my construction business? What is she going to do to help me as far as taxation with the IRS? That's what I want to know. What's Kamala Harris going to do about the 11 million people that she and Joe Biden allowed to come into the country within the last 4 years? While people like my son's best friend's parents are being deported. That's what I want to know. I'm not attacking. I'm asking you to convince me. So if you can provide something to turn me around, then post it in the comments. That's what I'm asking for. And anyone else that is a Kamala Harris supporter, chime in, sell me, bring me around. I'm open-minded. Right now, I don't have a reason. Right now, even though Scott wants to change the topic and tell me this could go to zero. Well, let's say if it's just a 1% chance that I get to cash this out before it goes to zero, I want someone in the office of the president that will protect this investment. Okay? That's what I want to hear you tell me. What's she going to do about this right here? This is my future. This is my future. This could pay for the home health care of my mother, who is 88 years old. It could pay for my grown kids, my grandkids, and take care of my entire family for generations. But the Biden and Harris administration and their SEC chair, they don't want me to be able to cash this out because they are against cryptocurrency. They are against sharing the wealth. They are against the people having financial freedom. They are for BlackRock, and the Federal Reserve being in control of the majority of the money in this country. They have their reasons, but it doesn't line up with what's helping my family. All right. That's all I'm saying. All right. Back to the comments. I lost Caroline. Hopefully she'll be back very soon. Yeah. Okay. That's a joke. I got you. I get the joke, stupid. Thank you very much. All right. Alice Angel says, Trump 2024, my friends, family, and I will definitely vote for Trump. Thank you for sharing. All right. Okay. So, yes, the same policies as Obama. Demi Demet Nova says, why are bankers and globalists so afraid of crypto? Well, Demi, it's because they want to stay in control. They know that as long as they run the money printer, which is the Federal Reserve printing the US dollar, okay. Now, Scott, I want you to chime in and refute me, Scott G, if you think you can. All right. But the banksters want to hold on to their ability to control the finances of the world. The Federal Reserve Bank and the member banks, which comprise of the Federal Reserve, don't want another monetary system to come into play outside of the US dollar. Ask yourself why. Well, the reason why is because they control the printing of money and they control where that printed money gets to be invested in. It's a scam. It's a pyramid scheme. Okay, the Federal Reserve is not federal and there is no reserve. There's no money that exists. It's all a con. And if you don't believe me, do your own research and you're going to find that out yourself, that when the government sets a budget and then gets the money for that budget, that money doesn't exist. That's why the national debt grows every year. We sell bonds. We're in bondage to everyone that's investing into this debt-based monetary society. All right. So Alice says Kamala Harris is an extension of Joseph Biden and his policies. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Nurse Petty is back. What's up, Nurse Petty? Yay! So does that answer your question, Demi, about the banksters and the globalists? Alice Angel also says, actually, Kamala Harris is not. Oh, thank you very much. Round of applause. Round of applause for Alice Angel, who states that Kamala Harris is not a foundational Black American. No, she's not. She's 1/4 Jamaican, and she's Asian and white. She's not what I am. Yeah. So I don't have any reason to blindly vote for her because she's Black, all right, quote unquote Black. I have no reason whatsoever. And I don't think I'm going to get any reasons from the people who are participating in this live stream. Because if they haven't shown up right now, and I've been on for 1.5 hours, and I have yet to have someone who is on the Harris plus whoever is going to be on her ticket, who's on that bandwagon, to come and present to me some points of policies that would make me want to vote for her. So Kamaka, Elaine J says, is going to provide daycare and elder care, and you won't have to pay for it. So who is paying those bills? Oh, yeah? And okay, so let me ask you this. Daycare and elder care, and we don't have to pay for it. So then who does pay for that? Where does that money come from? Where does it come from? That's the same money that's paying for the illegal aliens. You and I don't have to pay for that. Where's it come from? It comes from the federal government who prints money. And then you know where you're paying for that, Elaine? You're paying for that at the grocery store when your dozen eggs goes from $3 to $5. Okay? You're paying for that when your gas goes from $2 to $3.50. You're paying for that when your electric bill goes from $100 to $200 a month. You're paying for that when you try to buy a 3-bedroom house today of, say, just 1,500 square feet, and the price is $250,000 instead of $100,000. All right. So I would rather have the financial freedom and ability to pay for the health care and the elderly care of my mother by myself without you doubling the prices of everything that I have to pay for in the grocery store. So I'm going to have to say that doesn't convince me. And plus, you're still not telling me where that free money is coming for. Where's the free money come for? Where does it come from? Patriot Chick says that sounds like California. If you would look at what's going on in San Francisco, Elaine, I want you to come back and tell me if you think that free everything works. Go look at what's going on in San Francisco in the state of California, and then come back and talk to me about providing free daycare and free elder care, and then tell me where that money comes from. Okay? State of California, worst state in the entire union. It is a disaster and a travesty, and there's no way I would ever want to live there. My roommate in college and my frat brother, Sean, actually got priced out of California and had to move back to St. Louis, Missouri 2 years ago because he could not afford to even pay for gas to get to and from work. Alice Angel says, my family, friends, and I don't trust any of Kamala Harris's promises. You know, that's a good point. So, Elaine, how am I supposed to even trust that she would even follow through and do that? Even though I don't want her spending money that doesn't exist. It's kind of like this. Who knows what's going on with Tiffany Henyard and Dalton? I want you to type Tiffany Henyard in the comments if you know what's going on in Dalton, in the Chicago area. And Elaine, please let me know if you're aware of the crisis situation in Dalton. It is a suburb in the south side of Chicago. Let me know if you are familiar. There are things that Tiffany Henyard does that are very similar to what you're saying. She provides free trips to the doctor's office and home again, free groceries, free produce. We'll repair your roof, give you a free roof. We'll give you free windows for your house. We'll cut your lawn, trim your trees, fix your sidewalks. We'll pay your electric bill. We'll pay your water bill. We do everything for you under Thornton Township. Yet she has run this area into an $8 million deficit. Okay, but she offers all these free things. Now, I want you to tell me if you are familiar with Tiffany Henyard and the free stuff. And the fact that we know that it's ridiculous and absurd when Tiffany Henyard tells the residents about all these free things that she's giving them, when it comes from their back pockets, because the money comes from the taxpayers. But then she says it's free. Yes, Phoenix said, and passing out expired food. So it's a travesty. It's a disaster. It is a complete crap show. All right. But then we see the same thing going on in San Francisco. And so I want to know if you can connect the dots and make sense of this, whether or not you should believe this Kamaka is going to provide daycare and elder care and you won't have to pay for it. See, that's the whole mentality that I can't follow, is this whole thing of liberalism where it's all free. Well, where does the money come from? Who's paying for it? If it's all free, How is that a democracy? So it's all free, right? The government will just print that money out of thin air and pay for it. Or do we take it from rich people to pay for it? What are you telling me here? What are you telling me? Can you please explain a little bit more? Okay. Oh, thank you. You're welcome, Elaine J. You're welcome very much. And I tell you what, Elaine, go watch my videos covering Tiffany Henyard and Dalton and take the deep dive. You won't believe your eyes. It's absolutely absurd. But yes, you are welcome very much. I'm glad that I could explain that. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to fall into this trap, this trick that the politicians make where they start luring you in with free stuff. With free stuff. This is telling you what you're going to get. Now, meanwhile, Kamala Harris has made it known that the black community ain't getting nothing, because she said out of her own mouth that she is not going to back any legislation that specifically targets the black community. So she's against reparations. All right. However, we know that the Biden administration with Kamala Harris has specifically targeted other ethnic groups where they have been on the receiving end of billions of dollars. But she said it out of her own mouth that she's not going to pass any legislation that is specifically targeting the black community. You are very welcome. Okay, Patriot Chick says children will disappear downhill. Children, okay, will disappear and they will delete the elderly. I tell you what, I wouldn't put that past them. I don't think they'll get to that point where they'll be able to actually delete the elderly. But I know that euthanizing, is it euthanizing? Elderly has come up in the past from the Democratic side. It has come up. I do remember that. So Dom says Dalton has been going down for a long time and it's going to continue going downhill, and it's got a lot farther to go because the FBI ain't going to save them. It's not going to happen, but that's another video for another day where I'll share with you why the FBI ain't thinking about the residents, ain't thinking about the crazy stuff that Tiffany Henyard is pulling off. They're not thinking about that. It's not on there. It's not high on their list of priorities. It's just not. It's just not. Okay, well, Elaine, I thought you were 109% aware of what is happening in Dalton. Yes, yeah, it's a travesty. And, I'm not trying to, be completely one-sided or the other, because like I always mentioned, there are good Democrats that I support. I do like RFK. I don't mind RFK. And you know what? JFK from back in the days, even Jimmy Carter. The Democrats of yesterday are not the Democrats of today. There's a big difference. I can understand and appreciate certain liberal policies. I'm not just a diehard conservative Republican. There are things that I take stances on that don't fall in the party that you think that I would be a more than likely to vote for. We'll put it that way. All right. I tend to be politically agnostic. Elaine says she has connected the DOTTS. Right on. She has connected the dots. Good for you, Elaine. Give Elaine a round of applause. Give her a round of applause, because she is the first person, as Tiffany Henyard says, let me educate y'all. She is the first person who has just taken information from today and used critical thinking to connect the DOTTS. So it's good to see the people who are open-minded enough to consider some of the points that I make, just to expand your thinking. Not saying that, I want anyone to become a bedwetting Republican or a diehard Democrat. It's not what I want. I just want us to open our minds and take the blinders off and realize that a lot of what we see going on in this political world is a bunch of garbage. We have to be careful for what they tell us and what we believe. Okay, so let me put my glasses back on. I can barely see the screen, guys. We need to be voting. We need to stop voting based on color and start basing on character and common sense. Yes, round of applause. Round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you for that statement, Phoenix Blaze. You are so correct. What if we were not allowed to see an image of the people that we voted for until they get into office? What if we were only allowed to read their statements of beliefs, policies, and ideas, and we weren't allowed to see their face? What if that was the case? Can you imagine? Oh man, you gotta blow my nose there. Allergies. Can you imagine what this country would be like? Can you imagine what elections would be like? But no, we want to vote based on race. I'm supposed to vote for Kamala Harris because she's black. Because she's black. And it's such a loose definition because she's not my kind of black. She ain't a foundational black American. What do I have in common with her? Nothing. Nothing at all. Just because she went to an HBCU doesn't mean that I should just blindly vote for her. I didn't go to an HBCU, so we don't even have that in common. Now, I'm in a fraternity. I'm in the Divine Nine, but most of that, I believe, is a bunch of bullcrap. So I have no reason to blindly vote for that individual. Dom says, if RFK was able to speak better, he would have a chance. People don't have the attention span to listen to him. Sad but true. You're right. It is sad. It is sad. I think that if he had his voice back and kind of had, say, a better presentation capability, he would have gotten a lot further. But that does work against him. I like what Demi said here. Demi says, vote policy, not biology. I like that. I might have to steal that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Phoenix, I like that. Let's treat the election like we're all Stevie Wonder, and we can only listen to what they're saying without saying. If we were blind, what would it be like? Who would be in the office of the presidency, and what would we believe? I tell you what, you would find a bunch of people that will wake up that hated Donald Trump and thought that he was an evil dictator. They would wake up and find out that they actually supported him. That's what you would see. What would happen? A lot of people would be surprised that they are not doing anything but looking through the lenses of their biases. The Kennedys have too much baggage. Yeah, they do. They do. That's not working very well for Mr. RFK. I don't think he'll ever really go really that far in an election. And the older he gets, I think the less of a chance of him actually being elected. Well, guys, I have got to go. We have been on this live stream for a whole 1 hour and 42 minutes, but I want to give a big round of applause for Stream King John Luna. Actually, he's the Stream King and he's the top donation man. He gave away 5 memberships to the channel, so I really appreciate him. And if you want to be like John Luna, you can with the giving of a super thanks. And I appreciate your donations in advance. I appreciate all of you guys. What I've got up and coming in the announcements, I've got a video that I'm working on where I am going to talk about reparations, the history of reparations in the United States on behalf of the federal government as relates to the Black community. Okay, so that's coming. And then I also have a lot of Tiffany Henyard videos. I had to take that little break because it's exhausting to listen to the hood rat's mouth day after day. And, you know, to put a 20-minute video together, I have to listen to her mouth for at least 3 to 4 hours. And that's not easy to do. But those are coming. And then we'll also be talking more election stuff. Phoenix says, thank you, Carlton. Everybody have a good night. Thank you, everyone. I do hope you all have a great night. And I will see you again soon on the next live stream. And until then, this is Carlton, and I am out.